Okay, so this is going to be a different video because I am trying something a little different. It's still book related and very DIY and crafty, and this is going to include my art, which is funny because I literally just did the handle swap to separate the art from my bookish stuff, but I might be giving bookbinding a shot. Yeah. Now I'm giving bookbinding a shot so I can fix this beautiful edition of The Hobbit that I have carried everywhere and has started succumbing to dry rot. So every time I open it, it flakes. So the text block is still fine. It's just the cover, which makes me think, you know what, instead of buying a new one, I'm gonna save it. Because why waste it? Honestly. Which then led me to finding the Sacrificial Lamb, which is Nightmare on Elm Street, Perchance to Dream. This was one of my favorite books in my teens. But also, to be fair, the rebind was a long time coming because, look, I read this so often, the spine wore down enough to the point where it literally split. But let's just say it's split from a hefty fall, and the page is ripped. So there's no taking the tape off of this because if you look very carefully, like it goes all the way across. There's no saving that. But I was able to get the tape off the back and off the, because it was all along the spine. But I've been watching a handful of bookbinding videos, and I'm going to use this as the tester. So, fingers crossed. This is good. I'm going to use a combo of mixed media paper and cardstock, because I do have light cardstock. Now I'm going to do the dumb thing and try the hardest method of binding, at least hardcover binding, case wrapped. The hardest thing to do customized. I already measured things out. This should work. I already got a Clip Studio Paint file set up. I'm going to try to incorporate the original cover and back cover to the best of my ability. But, yeah, no. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so I've already gotten the dimensions down. I've started setting this up. I haven't started sketching anything out because, again, I want to try and incorporate this while kind of doing my own thing at the same time. But I have got this all set up. I'm going to do the base cover in here. It's going to be 10.5 by 7. And because I don't have anything that's, or at least any sheets of anything that's 12 inches, it's going to end up being like this is going to go on to a bigger canvas for the bleed to then fold over the edges. So that will be 11 by, what was it, 8? So that should fit. That should fit. Okie doke. So, started sketching things out. I think just for now I'm going to use the original back cover. Save myself some time on that. But I tried to go for a similar pose to what's on the original cover. I want to give it new life. This definitely feels like it was just a Freddy vs. Jason promo pic with a stock photo attached to it. And I mean, you do kind of see it in the backing too. But, you know. Tried my best. Started blocking in colors. So, yeah. Fingers crossed this works out. Okay, it's the next day. Thank you, train. But it's the next day. I have decided to take a break before jumping back into the cover design and focus on the actual text block. So, you know, I just cut up another strip like this. And I don't have a fancy clamp because bookbinding isn't my usual thing. But got the tacky glue. Put a thin layer on the strip, thin layer on the 2 halves of the text block, like, that split's always going to be there because that's the tape marking where the page is ripped and where the original tear was. I tried to get it as even as possible. It's not as noticeable from the bottom, but that's drying. Hopefully this works. I mean, I'll trim a little bit of this once it's fully dry, but I literally just did this, so I'm not going to touch it. But I think it should work. It should work. I mean, I've also decided I'm going to use these little scraps, more than likely for the sides, to help, well, lock everything together. But one thing at a time. One thing at a time. I'm just glad to see it in one piece, for the most part. Okay, so I have done a teensy bit more work. I'm trying to incorporate as much of the original cover as possible, while giving it new life, obviously doing my own version of the cover, while still using the border from the original. I do kind of like the idea of keeping the tears. Like, I think that's a neat little detail. Granted, no clue how I'm going to be doing, like, the bleed when I get to the bigger canvas, but I think this could be cool. Although, I mean, I could just maybe treat it like a paperback instead of a hardcover. Just print out this as the size it is, and then swap it over to that. Also, yeah, no. The text block it's together. It is whole. I am happy. I can flip through that without it falling apart now. But yeah, no, I kind of like being able to incorporate the original cover, or at least what was left of it, while getting my own style in there. Also, I did hand letter. I mean, obviously I hand lettered that part, but I did my best to mimic the actual Nightmare on Elm Street, or at least the Nightmare bit. I'm happy with how this is turning out. I'm happy. Okay, it is now the third day of working on this, and we're getting closer. We are getting closer. By we, I mean me. But it's looking like a book. It's looking like a book. We're getting there. I just glued this down. Yes, I did add a bit of a layer. I'm gonna see what I could do about flattening that out. I just wanted this to have a bit more of like a protective cover to it, but hell yeah. Also, this may not look that lined up, but surprisingly, it is mostly lined up. It was a little off anyway in the actual doc, but I only had the iridescent cover, okay? But I wanted it to have some protection. But honestly, I think that looks cool. I think it looks cool. But I got this glued down. I ordered another thing of tacky glue because we are at the point where it's like, it feels like there's a hefty amount in there, but it's got to be like this much. And it being tacky glue, you've got to like really squeeze the bottle for anything to come out. So I killed my hands getting this backing board on, and then I just did these edges. I'm going to hold off on these. I know this isn't the longest. I know I am determined. I am determined. All this, if anything, this did teach me that maybe the cardstock might not be the best choice for when I do end up binding or rebinding my copy of The Hobbit. It's great in theory, but I think I'm going to use a special print paper I have. Like, it's specifically for art prints. Also, yes, I did use this to flatten everything down. Pays to be a 90s kid, I guess. Okay, hear me out. I did some tests. Like, this one actually fits perfectly for the hardcover. But note, it doesn't have the colored edges like the last cover did, because apparently once you select high quality photo paper, or any sort of high quality print paper, it doesn't actually fit print full page, even though it says it will. But then if you hit standard, yeah, that's not good. So then I was just like, okay, I have a couple saved without the border. So I printed it full page, and it printed perfectly. That's what this one is. But remember how I said if you print full page, it doesn't actually print full page? That's what this is. Note, it didn't print full page. But you may be wondering what I'm doing. Well, somehow I looked out, and that is literally the exact size of the book. Like, even if I compare it to the original cover, it fits perfectly. So hear me out. I have glued this to cardstock because together this is roughly the same thickness as a regular paperback. Almost the exact same thickness as this. So hear me out. What if instead of hardcover, we just attempt a paperback? Then I'll trim down some sheets to glue to this. Note, I ripped off the bits that I had saved to this because I realized they were bending, and I didn't want that to risk that ripping. So, hear me out. Hear me out. We're gonna try to save this a slightly different way. It's still a rebind, but I'm curious if this is gonna work. Fingers crossed. I mean, you guys already know, judging by the video, but me in the past, fingers crossed. Okie doke, so I'm using one of the failed prints as a test because I think that was the last sheet of the clear iridescent topper that I have. I got that back from when I was trying to make stickers. That didn't go anywhere. But I don't have any just like plain clear, but I do have a glossy varnish. So I decided to take one of the failed prints and test it here. I mean, if anything, it makes it feel a little sticky. It looks nice. Like, it does look nice. It really brings out the colors. It really does make it pop. Like, I just want something to give it a bit more, like, protection. I feel like it can. And I mean, it's probably not going to warp as much since, I mean, this is literally just one sheet of the presentation paper. Meanwhile, the actual cover is over here and on cardstock. So that's got some nice heft to it, but you see what I mean? I want to have some protection to it. So I think I might just go for it. Just gonna tape this down, maybe put something on the back to get it to stay put, and then just go for it. Yeah. Okay, so I went for it. I had to re-glue down an edge, but I did it. I cut it out. I guess there were some spots where the glue wasn't completely dry, so there are a couple bubbles. Just a couple. Although, to be fair, that might have also been where the varnish went down heaviest. But I mean, it's not the end of the world. I ended up gluing up here a bit. That's why I just had the book on top of it. But look at how much that pops. Look at how that pops now. I love it. Luckily, a majority of that is on the back. Like, luckily. Tempted to try and just like poke holes in it, but I tried scratching some of them to get a hole in there, but well, when I said I wanted this to have protection, the X-Acto can't really get in there right now. So, mission accomplished. It is going to be protected. Now, I'm just using printer paper for this. Got that glued on. Letting that dry a bit more before I get some on the spine and then on here. But I did mark things out. It's still gonna like hang over just a teensy bit. But you know what? It's not the end of the world. Oh, that looks so good. That looks so good. Also, had to add the rebound. But look at how that pops now. Look at how it pops. I love it. It's like, and the spine lines up pretty nicely. And then I'm gonna try to find some way to get the original cover released inside. It's like I already cut off the ripped edges because, like, again, this was taped together with a hope and a dream. So it's not like I could just order a new one. And again, I don't remember if I mentioned it, but I did look up how much a new, at least a copy online would be, since I don't print it anymore. Yeah, no, I'm not going broke. Because it's like $100 to like $300, depending on the seller. So yeah, no. This is more of just a love letter to a book I used to read constantly, to the point where, like, you can still see where this split. Like, when I say it was held together by a hope and a prayer, I mean it. Like, this was beyond needing a rebind. So, you know, we're just going the paperback route. I'll tape that down. I'm gonna glue that down, plop it in, and we should be good. We should be good. I'm just gonna let this dry a teensy bit more before I do anything. Yeah. Actually, you know what? Maybe I will put the failed print under it just to separate it. That way that doesn't stick, because it has been sticking. I'm letting the glue that I added dry. So, guess we'll see it when it's together? Yeah? Yeah. Okay, so, it's done. It is done. It's drying, but it's done. It's not the prettiest, but, you know, for a first attempt at bookbinding, I would say this is good. I would say it's decent. It's decent, considering the fact that I don't have a lot of the tools most people have. So, yeah, no, we're working with what we got. We're working with what we got. And yes, this is currently being held down by a hair tie. But, yeah. And there goes the hair tie. But, yeah. I managed to add the original cover to the front and back. That way I still preserve it, and it's just, I mean, this whole thing is like a love letter to a book that I used to read all the time. And even the split isn't as obvious anymore. Which, honestly, okay, I take that back. I'm gonna say, it's like, it's not as obvious from certain angles. But I used to read this enough to the point where it did split. And at one point I did have like a giant thing of tape on the side, and it was held together by little tiny pieces of tape on the spine. And I mean, the Scotch tape is still in here, but I can actually use it now. I can read it, and it's not gonna fall apart. And it did teach me things to prep for the rebind I want to do for The Hobbit. So, yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna be making a custom case for, or custom cover for The Hobbit, but you know what? This didn't turn out too bad, and the cover actually fits. Like, That lines up nicely. That lined up, like, I would say it turned out pretty well. I'd say it turned out pretty well. I'm proud of myself. For my first rebind, I'm happy. And now I can read this again without worrying about it falling apart. Yay! So if you made it this far in the video, drop a like, comment your thoughts. Subscribe for more bookish and writing related content. Turn on the notification bell because I don't have a consistent schedule. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video, whenever that is. Bye!